Well, if you follow me on social media, this isn't a surprise whatsoever, but I'm starting a Stardew series. I've been watching far too many List the Last, Therm, and Lil Simsy Stardew videos lately, and I simply cannot help myself. Recently, I've gotten pretty good at finishing the community center by the beginning of winter, so I'm just trying to beat my previous record this time around, which is quite a few hours, but I'm pretty confident that I can do it this time. And I'm going full speed, or as fast as you can go on a Switch. I've got my speedy farm, and my favorite thing is going fast. So you can really tell that I'm taking this seriously. Speaking of taking this seriously, this video has taken about 20 hours of work so far, so if you're brand new here or if you're not subscribed, if you end up enjoying it, if you could subscribe or like the video, I would be super grateful for your support. But now that that intro is out of the way, we can finally get into the game, and you might have noticed that I chose the forest farm, and that's because there's of course the forageables, but then also the hardwood every day, so that will be a great benefit to me. Like I mentioned, I am playing on the Switch, so there are some certain drawbacks. But we are going to make it work and just hope for the best. And again, I'm just kind of competing against myself here, so there's not much for me to lose. And since it's not an official speedrun, I am just going to be doing about 9 days per episode. That way it's not just going to be over like that, and it's also a lot easier for me to edit it this way, because like I said, I've already put in about 20 hours for this video, and it's only the first 9 days. So it's going to be about 4 videos per season, or I guess when we get to winter, it'll probably just be 1. So that will be really exciting. But hopefully you want to stick around for the Stardew series, because I am so excited about this. I literally dreamt about editing this last night, so it's been a lot of fun. But while I was chatting, I planted all of my parsnips, chopped a tree so I could make a chest, introduced myself to Haley, and then tried to forage, which the more Stardew videos I'm watching, the more I realize that foraging at the very beginning of the week isn't the most productive thing, but that's okay. Then I introduced myself to Vincent, got blocked by him, and decided to dig through some trash. And then I saw that Evelyn was gardening, so I decided I should probably introduce myself to her. Then I saw Caroline and Jody and went to introduce myself to them as well. On my way into Pierre's, I decided to check the calendar not once, but twice, and then I'm pretty sure I forgot to check it ever again, in spring anyways. And then I introduced myself to Leah. It felt like I should be friendly. I'm also usually pretty bad at remembering to introduce myself to Pierre, so I'm impressed I did that the first day. So I'm just buying up all of the seeds that I can. As you'll see as we go, I'm going to be focusing a lot on the cauliflower, and for all of the wrong reasons. I'll get into it eventually. But some more introductions. I was doing a little bit of foraging because I realized I would need more energy for my nighttime planting here. But it turns out that no amount of energy would have prepared me for the amount of times that I missed where I wanted to hoe, missed where I wanted produce to go. It was just a hot mess. I had wanted the green beans to be beside each other on the side because on the Switch you can't walk through them. There's like no mod for that, and I messed it up twice. So that's just on me. That's my own fault. I deserve it. So then I went to bed and moved along to day 2. First day, we made 30 gold, which I'm pretty sure is a world record, so I'm pretty proud for that. But moving forward into these days, I am going to be cutting out certain things so it doesn't become super repetitive. If I didn't, these videos would probably be like 7 hours long, and that's just maybe a little bit too long. So going into day 2, the spirits were annoyed, but we watered our crops, or we tried to at the very least. Then we planted some mixed seeds because, why not? It actually took me a few playthroughs to realize that I really should be planting them, so talk about growth, just incredible. Then I decided to do some foraging, sold all of it to Pierre, and decided at the very last minute that I should introduce myself to Maru, and ignored Harvey. After that, I wandered down to the beach, and because I am on the Switch, I don't believe I can skip any of these cutscenes. So that is one of the very big reasons that this isn't a legitimate speedrun, because yeah, that would not work out. But after getting our fishing rod, we caught a sardine, a piece of seaweed, and then we sold some things to Willie. And because I had so much fun doing it, I did it all over again. Then, on my way back into town, I was able to introduce myself to Elliot and make the worst first impression with Lewis that I have ever had. But hey, it's nice to meet you. And then pretty much at the exact same time, we were able to introduce ourselves to Alex and to Emily. Once I finally got to Pierre's, of course, I used all of my gold to buy more seeds. Only 7 left, so I'm sure that that's great budgeting. But then I made some more introductions. I met Robin, I met Marnie, and I met Abigail. It was a very, very busy day for introductions. Then I was able to make my way to the saloon, so I said hello to Pam, said hello to Gus, and then to Sam on my way to do some fishing. Because it is the nighttime, I was actually able to catch a bream on my first go, and I will be saving that for the community center when the time comes, because I am trying to get the fish as quickly as possible. Again, if you follow me on social media, you may know that one of my community center runs was just absolutely demolished because I forgot to catch a sunfish, of all things. And of course, one never showed up in the traveling cart, so that was very, very sad. So I'm not making that mistake again. So, just finishing up the second day of spring by planting all of the seeds that I bought from Pierre, completely exhausting myself, and going to bed. Hey! Level 1 fishing and level 1 foraging. Pretty good start since we're just on day 2. And we made a bit more gold today. Everything is going up. So going into day 3, it should be raining. So I'm very hopeful that I'll be able to do some fishing. And even the spirits today seem to be happy. They can't be that happy, I guess, if a crow already took one of my crops. But I did find a fish taco, so I decided to do a little bit of fishing. And I thought maybe getting a fish taco would be a great omen for catching a catfish, because in the river during the rain is the time to do it, although I don't think my abilities are quite strong enough yet to catch one. And very quickly, it turned out that that was true. Luckily, this time around, I was able to catch a fish that I actually needed, which was a shad. So that was just very, very exciting for me. So I ate the fish taco feeling very confident with the boosted ability and tried again for the catfish. This time around, I was met with a smallmouth bass and stone and coal. So not the greatest treasure hunt that you could hope for. But I made my way back to my farm, sold the fish that I could while I saved the shad, really deliberated about selling the fish bait, which I clearly did, and then I made my way out to do a little bit more foraging. While I was out, I broke records by finding 1 spring onion, chopped some trees, and then sold what I could for gold before going to bed. And we got level 2 fishing. Very exciting times. Just going into day 4. I'm even impressed with myself, especially with that 842 gold. That is wonderful. So moving into day 4, it is not raining, so we're going to have to start the day by watering all of our crops, of course. But after this, I'll do a little bit of foraging and then hope to catch a sunfish. Easy. And we are now a fisherman. So we'll sell what we can, scare away some seagulls, and do a little bit more foraging. Now we know how to read. I then made my way to Pierre so I could spend all of my gold on cauliflower seeds and potato seeds. And actually now, because of Animal Crossing, I know it should be called a seed potato. It's kind of interesting. You should Google it. And then more foraging and planting. You know, all of the regular spring things. But that's why I'm cutting a lot of it out because like I mentioned, it gets a little bit repetitive. So I'm just selling what I can, finishing watering the crops and planting some acorns for that oak resin, and then turning into a slug. All for 1 stone. It's like the walk of shame in Stardew, I swear. But then we went to bed. And now we are off to day 5. Not as big of a money day as it was yesterday, but you know, not every day can be that lucky. But it turns out we are that lucky because it is raining again and the spirits are in good humor, which is better than nothing. And then we're just, you know, opening all of our mail, all of the regular stuff that you would have to do, hoping to get a backpack at some point. Now we can even mine because Joja finally took care of their business. And we even got our first parsnip harvest. Then I went into town to sift through some garbage, found some soggy newspaper, introduced myself to Shane finally on my way to the traveling cart. I just wanted to check if there was anything worth buying, especially since I was going to sell to Pierre today. And there was. So we're going to need 975 gold if we want the sandfish and the pufferfish. Yeah, 974. So I caught a smallmouth bass, ran all the way to Willie just to sell that one fish, and went straight back to the traveling cart. Once I secured the fish, I put them safely in my wooden chest, sold my soggy newspaper, and decided that going to the mines was probably a good idea. Marlin so graciously gave me a rusty sword, so I was able to begin my adventure, and so I did. Obviously, I didn't have the best of luck this day, so I did have a bit of difficulty finding the ladders on these floors. As you'll see very shortly, I was only able to make it to level 2 before I eventually exhausted myself, and I had to exit the mines to find some source of energy. Luckily, I was able to find a leak, and I decided that maybe some fishing would be a good idea, and I really lucked out because both of them had treasures. So we got a bullhead and a chub, which we will need for the community center as well, and, you know, some coal and some other things. And I dropped the fish bait into the water by accident, so that's fine. I didn't plan on selling it or anything. So I decided back into the mines, why not? Maybe things will be a little bit easier. And I so quickly ran out of energy again. So I left and decided to do a little bit more fishing. And I really lucked out. Got the largemouth bass, which we also need for the community center. Things are really coming together for that particular bundle, even though I don't even have it unlocked yet. To finish off the night, I decided to just forage on my farm, and I'm kind of glad that I did because I ended up finding a morel, as you could see first, and then I had a dandelion down here, which I thought about selling, but then I quickly realized it was the one forageable that I had not grabbed for spring yet and like saved in my chest. So I grabbed it and saved it and went to bed. And lucky us, we have level 1 farming and level 1 mining. But I'm mostly excited about being able to make the scarecrows because I don't like when they mess with my crops. So we are moving into day 6 and we're hoping just for a good day. Of course the spirits are neutral, but hey, we've got 100 gold and a dream. We have met 22 out of 28 people, and Clint just gave us the furnace blueprint. So pretty good start to the day. We'll harvest our parsnips, and then of course just water everything else that we have left. After saving our 1 gold parsnip, I decided to go through some garbage again and then gift Lewis for his birthday. And very quickly I realized I was wrong, and it was not his birthday at all. But I had to double check it for myself and introduce myself to Harvey on the way. After selling my remaining parsnips, I bought more parsnips and decided to go to Clint's to get him to crack open the geode that I found. And while I was there, I realized I hadn't actually introduced myself yet, so I did that and made my way to the museum to make my first donation. And of course, it's all unskippable. I can't skip any of this, so I'm just going to edit it out for you guys. But hey, we made 250 gold from doing our first donation, and then I realized I needed to zoom out a little bit and lock my toolbar, because that's something that I always do, and I apparently forgot. But I'm just doing a little bit of foraging right now. I wanted to make sure I made it to the beach, and introducing myself to people that I have missed. I'm very sorry, Penny and Jazz. And Sebastian somehow. That's a bit surprising. But back on Speedy Farm, I've just planted the rest of my parsnips and I'm watering them, and now I'm starting the process of making a bunch of basic fertilizer because I am hungry for those gold parsnips. And the problem with the cauliflower I was mentioning, yeah, I just made way too much fertilizer for the cauliflower when I don't actually need gold ones. And yeah, I bought more seeds. Are we surprised at this point? So you know the drill. Just seeds, fertilizer, watering, all that good stuff. Even including completely missing the seeds. Then I decided to head to the mines because I know I need copper ore for a variety of things. And boy oh boy did I struggle. I couldn't hit a rock for my life. But I really need to make some tappers, and I'm going to need to start upgrading my axe so that I can eventually get into the secret woods during the summer, because I'm going to need that fiddlehead fern. See, I might be struggling, but I do have a plan. Then yeah, I guess we officially found a geode, even though I already had one, so that's a little bit weird. Maybe it has to be mined for it to count. But as you can see, we find a ladder, we make it down to level 4. It's only, what, like 5 o'clock? Yeah. So disappointing. I didn't have any energy, didn't have a way of getting any energy, so I had to leave. But when I got back, I put away my things, made a scarecrow and a furnace, put them in their spots, and then went to bed. So going into day 7, we didn't level up anything, but as you can see, we made 50 whole gold, so that is pretty amazing. Starting our day out as we always do, checking our fortune and they're in good humor, and then we're going to learn our first recipe. We learned how to cook stir fry, which would be great if we had a kitchen, but we don't, and we probably won't for a little bit. I appreciate the concern, Robin, but I've got a little pond right there. It's kind of perfect for filling this watering can. Off to the traveling cart we go. Let's see what she's got going on here. Nothing. So then I had the wise idea of going to grab these spring onions and quickly realized I didn't have enough inventory space, so I went to wish Lewis a happy birthday on his real birthday. And since I was close by, I decided to go to Clint's so I could break open the 2 geodes that I found in the mines yesterday. And luckily, we did end up with more than a few that we could donate. We got the amethyst and the topaz, and then 2 others that I do not remember the name of right now. But we did end up getting a reward for this, so that's probably the most exciting part. Because it's cauliflower seeds. And you know how much I love those. Still can't aim for a spot for my life, by the way. Luckily, fishing does not require aim, really, like for the most part. So I went fishing afterwards and I decided to sell some things to Willie, and then I decided to do it again. And we got a fossil. I'm wondering if I should add in an extra goal of just finishing the museum somehow by the end of this. But that might be a bit ambitious because I've never done that before. So I let that out into the ocean because I'm a super, super nice person. Then I went all the way back to Pierre's so I could get more cauliflower seeds. It's a theme, as you can probably guess. I'm just hoping it'll make me a lot of gold. But then I decided to forage a little bit more, take a little bit of a break, and then head back to my farm so I can sell a few things and plant all of the seeds that I had just bought. Of course, I decided to add on some of the basic fertilizer, which I did end up needing to make more, but I need that extra gold from getting those quality crops. A lot of it's because I just want to be able to upgrade the barn as quickly as possible because I'm going to need some pigs. And I realized if I wanted to cut more wood, get more sap so I could make some fertilizer, I was also going to need some energy. So I ran for the spring onions that I hadn't collected from the other day and used those to boost my energy a little bit. Now, I want you all to remember this because I don't know how this happened, but I'm not editing the brightness or anything, so you can just see it the way I saw it. And you can just let me know once I get to bed and get to tomorrow if you blame me for making this very, very silly mistake. But we made it to level 3 fishing, level 2 foraging. Am I going to make any of those recipes? Probably not. But hey, I made 145 gold, so it's a great start to the day. Of course, we're going to start the day by just checking out our fortune, seeing how things might go if we go to the mines. Accidentally checked the weather and it's going to rain tomorrow, so that's some good news. And the spirits are annoyed, so not a good day. Robin is telling us about a kitchen. Not right now, Robin, I'm too busy looking at this mess. I even watered those spots as if it mattered. That's fine. We'll get something planted there today. Can't waste that fertilizer. So after we get these watered, we will head out to do a little bit of foraging, and then hopefully we will be able to get the community center cutscene. But first, knowledge. And there it is. Which again, I can't skip it. But what I can do is just cut it out for you. And look at that, movie magic. So we obviously cannot read that quite yet. We're going to have to go meet the wizard, which some of you will probably know what that means. Probably one of the best cutscenes and one that I don't mind not skipping. But very quickly before heading to the museum, I decided to spend all of my gold on cauliflower again because I cannot stop myself. And then I donated my fossil and a frozen tear. Afterwards, I decided to fish for some gold because obviously I'm a bit short on that front right now, and it worked out pretty nicely because one of the fish actually gave us 2 frozen geodes. So next, we will head over to Clint's so he can break those open for us, and hopefully we can find something for the museum. Nope. Alright, well there's always tomorrow. But to feel better for right now, we will head over to Pierre's and I'm going to buy more cauliflower seeds because of course I am. I need to fill in these spots that are already fertilized for some weird reason. I have no idea how that happened. I also have no idea how one person can struggle with watering crops as much as I do. But that's what I did, and then I got my letter from my grandpa and decided to do a little bit more foraging because I needed more energy for chopping trees. which I did immediately because I wanted the sap and I needed the wood. But then I planted 2 of the mixed seeds that I found, made sure that they were watered before I completely passed out, and then went to bed. So we are now moving into day 9, which is the last day of the episode. So if you have been enjoying this, if you wanted to subscribe so you don't miss any future ones, I would really appreciate it. As you can see, we were lucky enough to wake up to some rain, though the spirits are mildly perturbed today, so that's a bit unfortunate. But we will get to go visit the wizard, and we got 500 gold from our game dad. So that's so sweet of him. But immediately, the first thing I want to do is go visit the wizard because I want to start donating some things. That's why you could see that my inventory is a bit full right now, because I want to make sure that I finish that first bundle today. We need to unlock those other ones. And of course, I know that I said it's my favorite, but I'm not going to include the entire thing because I think this whole cutscene took about 2.5 minutes. So it's a lot of time. Anyone else just love this part though? I just love staring at it. But yay, we now have the power of forest magic. And I still need to meet George somehow. I can't believe that's the last person that I haven't met yet. That's so surprising. But at least it's an easy one to find. That is what I'm grateful for. And for this bread. Thank you. Just quickly checking the garbage before I go in to meet George. Making sure that he knows that no one's safe. Then we head to the community center. Finally going to finish up this bundle. And I do know it's a bit rough to watch because, again, I'm doing this on the Switch. And not everything can be perfect. And that's okay. But we finish this one up, we get our spring seeds, and now we are unlocking the pantry and the aquarium, which I have a lot of plans for. I have a list and everything. But of course, I couldn't help myself. I head straight to Pierre's and I sell almost everything that I have so I can buy some more seeds. And of course, first up, I grabbed some cauliflower, decided that I should probably get more parsnips, but then I just maxed it out on more cauliflower because, again, I just want the gold. Someone stop me. So I planted the rest of my seeds. I decided to chop some trees so I can get some sap and make some more fertilizer. And for some reason, I ate my bread, but I don't think I actually needed to because look at how much energy I have. I don't think I had a reason to do that. Might have just completely wasted that. Regardless, I decided to plant some more acorns because, like I mentioned, I'm worried about getting enough oak resin. And then I decided to make another scarecrow and make just quite a few torches so that I could light up the farm a little bit. Because it's so dark and I don't want to put fertilizer where it doesn't belong. Once my outdoor decorating was finished though, I decided that finishing this episode with a big community center donation would be just a great way to end this one. So that's what I'm going to do, just trying to figure out the pocket space so I can do it, and honestly just trying to figure out the layout of my farm so I can actually leave. I might not have been paying attention, but we don't need to talk about that. So making a bunch of our donations. Although we don't end up finishing any of the fish bundles right now, there's some that are pretty close, so that's really exciting. And with that, we will head back to our farm, sell the extra fish and that daffodil we had on us, and we will head to bed. And that will be the last day of this particular episode. So like I mentioned, if you enjoyed this one, make sure that you subscribe so you don't miss the next episode. And very quickly here, I'm going to show you my time from the first successful run that I did of this. And Clem Farm, 40 hours and 24 minutes. So hopefully I will be able to beat that time. And as always, I hope everyone has a wonderful day.